Hello, dear friends. Fiction becomes reality sometimes, and it teaches us very valuable lessons. Opinion piece, Hunger Games, abuse of power, material scarcity, desperate poverty, decline of privilege. It's no longer fiction. Unscrupulous people, stratification of wealth, conflict between power and freedom, too much war, deceit, and misunderstanding. Let's start. When The Hunger Games was released more than a decade ago, the dystopia presented was captivating and sophisticated, but also implausible. But it was more prophetic than it seemed at the time, including the stratification of wealth, the decline of privilege, the abuse of power, and the complications of resistance. It predicted the overlap of material decay, desperate poverty, and the use of fear as a propaganda device, according to Jeffrey Tucker. The series deals with the greatest conflict in history, that between power and freedom. Only those who are lucky enough to live in District 1, the center of the empire, and to associate with the best, eat well, dress in increasingly absurd ways, with hair dyed in unnatural colors, follow all the trends, go to the right parties, and try to live up to the social scene, live well. The story takes place in a post apocalyptic future in a nation called Panem, located in what was once North America. Panem is divided into 12 districts and the capital, a wealthy city that controls the districts through oppression and violence. Every year, as a reminder of the capital's power, the Hunger Games are held, a brutal event in which one boy and one girl, called tributes, from each of the districts are selected to compete in an arena where they must fight to the death until only one remains. Each of the districts fulfills its proper economic function to keep the center living in luxury. The borders between them are strictly respected. Their place in the socio-political order is determined by the accident of birth, with no economic mobility. The fear of being called upon to pay tribute for the games is what instills in the population the need for obedience. Mockingjays are hybrid birds that, or sinsajos, that are used to spy on the rebels, but are later adopted by them as a symbol of resistance. To maintain order and keep rebellion at bay, the leaders of District 1 hold an annual extravaganza that combines fashion, violent games, and an intense political message about the dangers of rebellion. Each district must send two randomly assigned tributes to the games, where they face off in an arena in a battle for their lives, in which there is only one winner, while those at the top watch in fascination. The simplest lesson of the Hunger Games is that powerful people can do terrible things, and that we must resist to stop them. The more complicated lesson is that powerful institutions themselves are corrupt, and that there will always be people with no moral scruples willing to take up the mantle of power. Pearls. William Cooper predicted the control of society through fear. Do people get the governments they deserve? Ask Poet Dog. Earth looks spherical from the moon at 5 million kilometers. JFK Jr. says we are entering the third stage and we are closer than ever. Repetition is necessary for understanding the energy of creation, because the Earth has two many wars, deceptions, coercions, and misunderstandings. According to the young pretender, the monetary reset will be implemented overnight when gold is revalued in the monetary reset. It will not be a market move, but a controlled shift to a new permanent way of valuing the metal. According to Kavamur, Yeshua will return on a starship. Matthew 24:30-31. When the coming of the Son of Man will fill the heavens, I repeat, then the coming of the Son of Man will fill the heavens, and no one will miss it. Unsuspecting people all over the world, oblivious to the splendor and power, will raise a loud wailing when they see the Son of Man shining from heaven. At that very moment, he will send out his angels with a call of trumpet, drawing God's chosen ones from the four winds, from one pole to the other. Full thoughts quotes. For the first time in the European Union history, Germany has also decided to end uncontrolled immigration. Other EU countries will follow suit. Austria has said it will not accept any immigrants rejected by Germany, so Austria is almost certain to follow suit and close its border. The Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Slovenia, and Croatia will follow suit. This means that the Schengen area, which comprises 29 European countries, will have to follow suit, having abolished border controls at their mutual borders. The recent evacuation of the Dutch royal family to Patagonia has led to a political shift, with the Netherlands declaring a state of emergency due to the illegal immigration crisis and asking to opt out of EU immigration policy. Polish representatives told Anthony Blinken to leave immediately, saying, "We don't want the Polish people to pay or die for your wars." Last week, intelligence chiefs from the BRICS met and decided to fight terrorist financing and money laundering. The BRICS are on the verge of taking control of the global financial system. The petro-yuan is giving access to immediate and low-cost cross-border monetary transactions. So far, the BRICS have confirmed that 159 participants will adopt the new payment system. The White Hats want to strike a deal with the BRICS. The Chinese and American White Hats know they can either destroy each other or prosper together. In a sign that the Chinese military has some cards of its own to play, a new world record was set in Shenzhen last week, when a formation of 8,100 drones took off to show an impressive display. All electric vehicles will be obsolete in 3 to 5 years unless they switch to hydrogen. Thailand has started production of hydrogen-powered vehicles, and Japan is doing the same. This is the future of the auto industry. Gasoline cars are not going away either. Oil is infinite and produced by the earth, and it doesn't come from dead dinosaurs, as we have been led to believe. Elon Musk is neither a white hat nor a black hat, but a grey hat. Others say he's a mad hat. There are still compassionate people in this world. A dog was running after the ambulance carrying his master. When the emergency workers noticed, they let him in. Economy. Gold is the world's currency. Silver is back above $31. Copper hits a 2-month high. The dollar has lost more than 30% of its purchasing power against gold in the past year. Gold hits record high for third time in rate cut week. Stocks measure $3,000 touched. Gold bright as stocks prepare to cool off. The Dow Jones closes with a new record and registers a week of gains after a big rate cut by the Fed. The volume of use of national currencies in the BRICS exceeds that of payments in dollars. By Tuesday, October 1st, 2024, all banks must comply with Basel III, which means that they should close unless they have enough gold behind them to make loans. According to David Lin, the interest rate will remain at 2% next year, while the Fed saves the economy from the four horsemen of deflation. China's monopoly on rare earths finds competitors. Canada opens its first rare earth refining plant. China is considering giving up population control to rescue the country. China would be the largest exporter of chips in the world in 2030. Shanghai Microelectronics Equipment filed a patent for manufacturing semiconductors that represents an important step towards China's self-sufficiency. USA. The FBI is not cooperating with the Ron DeSantis investigation. Trump hints at a change of command, the sum of all fears. The dark side has two plans, one before the elections and another one after. They need to stop him at all costs. 5 teams tried to assassinate Trump, an official told Matt Gaetz. Multiple rallygoers seated near Trump were blinded and suffered searing pain. Their symptoms look like they have been sprayed with something, according to the Western Journal's Jared Harris. Iranian hackers sent stolen Trump campaign information to people associated with the Biden campaign, the FBI says. Shadowy powers want to get rid of Kamala Harris, intelligence sources say. The White House declares Trump a national security threat. Europe. Lagarde warns of the risk of more volatile inflation than expected. Europe suffers from boiled frog syndrome, according to Javier Benitez. Bulgaria distances itself from the beepers that detonated in Lebanon. Taiwan insists that the pagers detonated in Lebanon were not manufactured on the island. Hungary raises 754 kilometers of dikes against the flood of the decade. Portugal controls the fires of the last few days and only one focus remains open. The German Green Movement has failed. Companies are realizing that it was a wrong decision and layoffs have begun. Germany's largest car maker, Volkswagen, plans to cut up to 30,000 jobs, according to Manager magazine. Russia-EU trade grows for the first time since November 2023. Britain's ultra-wealthy threaten to leave en masse over proposed non-dom tax changes. Threat to freedom of expression, according to Doug Casey. The British government has jailed more than 400 citizens for expressing their opinions on social networks under the pretext of stopping hate speech. Spain. The first week of autumn was rainy and will be rainy, and the atmosphere was cold, typical of October. Javier Bardem believes that what is happening in Gaza is unacceptable. Venezuela. Venezuela accuses Spain of being the epicenter of a conspiracy. González Urrutia clarifies that he was not coerced by the Spanish government into exile. María Corina Machado asks the Spanish government to go much further. Edmundo González Urrutia left Venezuela because he was forced to do so, as he suffered terrible harassment and threats to his life, said María Corina Machado. Americas. Bolivia will receive equipment to combat the voracious fires in its territory. In Argentina, the worst for economic activity has already happened, according to Marcelo Montes. Ecuador declares a red alert in 15 provinces due to water deficit. Ecuador asks companies to turn on their generators to save electricity. Mexico. Seismic activity increases in Mexico. The Mexican government believes that there has been no progress in dialogue with the US on immigration. Mexican deputies approved the reform to attach the National Guard to the armed forces. More than 90% of crimes in Mexico are not investigated. Insecurity in coastal Mexico daily up to 1.50% of its GDP. An undeclared cyber war is raging in Mexico. Gunmen for the gang led by Ismael El Mayo Zambada, 76, are fighting against the Chapitos faction, led by two sons of the imprisoned drug lord Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán. The war began after one of Guzmán's sons lured Zambada into a trap that led to his arrest in the US. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.